Welcome to today's signing ceremony for an MOU between the Government of St. Lucia and Nypro for the rehabilitation of the Vieux-Fort Police Station. I know that this is long in coming, but the day is finally here, and I think it will bring a great relief to not only as we serve the citizens of St. Lucia, but also to the police who will be utilizing the facility to carry on their service to the people of St. Lucia. I would like to call on Mr. Everestus Jean-Marie, Chairman of the Board of Nypro, to deliver some remarks.
Nypro is a property investment arm of the National Insurance Corporation and has had a very long association with the government of St. Lucia insofar as the construction and maintenance of police stations across the island. And that is continuing. Only last month, we signed a bold agreement with the government of St. Lucia for $36 million for the construction of a modern police station in the Grosley area. Today, the Vieux-Fort Police Station, which is the subject of today's proceedings, was built 17 years ago under a bold agreement between Nypro and the government of St. Lucia. And it is in much need of remedial repairs, for which today we'll be signing a loan of $3.9 million to facilitate these repairs. This loan will be for a period of 3 years at an interest rate of 6.75%. This has been long outstanding, and for some reason we do regret that it has taken us so long to rectify this issue. I could well imagine the discomfort that policemen have had and women in operating such a facility. The project is expected to take no more than 8 months, and Nypro will be responsible for overseeing this project. And sometime around this time next year, I would expect you to be operating in upgraded facilities if all goes well, and I expect it to. I want to take the opportunity as well to recommit Nypro's intentions to keep working with the government of St. Lucia insofar as improving the physical infrastructure of police stations across the island. We owe it to police men and women that they have the best facilities in which to operate, because your task is a very demanding one and a very risky one. And at the very least, you need to have comfortable surroundings in which to operate in. So I want to look forward to an early commencement as soon as we have signed this loan agreement, and that this project will be completed within 8 months. Thank you very much.
I would now like to call on Acting Commissioner of Police, Mrs. Crusita.
Today, I'm rather happy. It's a very important day for me today to be here to witness the signing of work to be commenced on the Vieux-Fort Police Station. The Vieux-Fort Police Station have been out of, well, of course, our officers have been out of this station for more than 4 years. And today, we are quite happy to be here to witness the signing for the renovation of the police station. The police officers have been operating in other facilities, which is not the best for them to operate in as it relates to the challenges we face when it comes to crime fighting. We have a very challenging task, especially as we see what happens today, although it is not unique to St. Lucia, but it's a task that we face, and we need to give the officers, we need to have all it takes to enable us to fight crime in this country and to make St. Lucia a better and safer place for our citizens and visitors. So today I'm rather grateful, sir, and I'm rather thankful to be here to witness the signing of this ceremony. And the presence of my senior officers today, the head officers, the other ranks, our admin officer, is testimony on how much we are looking forward to a change of venue to give the people of St. Lucia the service that they need as it relates to crime fighting and making St. Lucia a better place. So I'm very thankful to be here today, and I'm looking forward, as Mr. Jean-Marie said, in maybe a year time, sir? I'm just giving you 1 more month so that you will not tell me we have to go 2 more months. So I'm looking forward to going to this new station. I'm sure all my officers will be saying the same thing. So I'm very thankful, and I'm happy to be there to witness this signing. Thank you so much.
I would now like to call on former Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for Vieux-Fort South, Honorable Dr. Kenny Anthony, to deliver remarks on behalf of his constituency. Honorable Anthony.
May I first take the opportunity to applaud the patience of the members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I think you are fully aware that the repairs to this police station have been long overdue. And I have to tell you that I was always amazed that somehow you survived without it, and you did so without complaints or without rancor or without anger. I was quite mystified by this. And even on occasions when I had the temerity to open my mouth and express my disappointment that allocations were not made to repair the police station, I was actually met with some criticism by members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Rather bizarre. But then that is the nature of the business. But I think we owe you a debt of gratitude. We need to say thank you to you, because it could have been worse. I'm fully aware of the movements you've had to make from one building to the next building, and you operated sometimes on Clark Street in particularly difficult circumstances, very limited space, rubbing shoulders with each other in conditions of great discomfort. So I think we really owe you that, and we really need to say to you, thank you very, very, very much for what you have had to endure at the discomfort of the state. But you are also aware that this is a police station that I'm associated with. Nipro exists today because during my tenure I created it through the then government. And we did so because we saw the huge potential for the National Insurance Corporation to have an investment arm. And it has worked exceedingly well for national security and the security of the state, because to Nipro has fallen the responsibility of designing and constructing police stations throughout the length and breadth of the country. And I'm very happy to learn that the next station due for construction would be the $37 million station at Gros-Islet. And that's a sizable sum of money, $37 million, so it has to be a very special building, and for which, of course, I think, again, the members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force in the north of the island truly deserve. But this building is just 17 years old, and it struck me, as it has always struck me, and I know that this is not the right forum to say this, that something is chronically wrong in this country, how we maintain public property. It's unbelievable that the government goes through huge expense to construct buildings all over the island, but within years of construction, for some reason or another, something goes wrong. But what is worse is that we don't have the capacity to maintain and to repair. And I see public buildings going to waste because the state somehow cannot come up with the resources to repair those buildings. I walked on this property, this fisheries project, a few moments ago, and of course I'm here from time to time, and I see the deterioration all the time. And I know the Japanese government has spent millions of dollars investing in repairing this building. But you know what? You just park outside there on the parking area, and all the wrought iron bars have gone rusty. They're ugly. And everyone knows that those iron bars should be painted at least every year, because you are next to the sea. The salinity content is high, uncontrollable. And if you know Vieux-Fort very well, that has been one of the profound problems with Vieux-Fort, because if you go walk around the town, you'll see, for example, areas that have been concreted and the cement is just peeling off to expose rusting steel. Again, I just say this to make the point that we really have to do a better job of taking care of our public buildings. And I really don't know whether the government should enter into a more permanent arrangement with Nypro to maintain those buildings over time, or whether it's a question of overhauling whatever arrangements that we have in place, or that we create appropriate financial mechanisms that would allow for continuous maintenance. It can't be right that we are spending millions and millions of dollars on public property and then it goes to waste because maintenance is so poor. And these days, the common thing, as you know, is mold. What are we doing wrong? Why is it that mold has become such a monumental problem? Why is it that within 4 or 5 years you construct a building and then you're faced with problems of mold? Of course, let's not run away from the truth too. We have new sensitivity about the rights of workers and about rights of employees. And the government is supposed to take an employee as they come. That's what the law will tell you. The law will tell you you can't discriminate and say you're not giving somebody a job because a person is suffering with allergies of one kind or another. You have to take the employees as they come. But then why is this happening on this scale so often and so frequently? Just bear in mind the buildings in Castries that are now empty, gone to waste because they've had to be vacated because of this problem. But it is also saying that we may have to revisit our methods of construction. And certainly in an area like Port Castries, where the sea water table is so close to the surface, that it may mean extra precaution when buildings are being constructed in the Castries port. Because I have this theory that somehow slowly the Castries port is moving downward, whether it's by ½ an inch or a couple millimeters every year. These are the new realities that we face, especially with the weather conditions that we have. And while Nipro cannot, of course, cure all the problems associated with the building here in Vieux-Fort, then I'm hoping too that whatever they do, they will bear those factors in mind so that we have a building that is far more resilient than it has been and can give us the service that it ought to provide. I hear the chairman of Nipro, and like the commissioner, I hope that we keep the timetable of 8 months. And I believe that the chairman knows full well that I will hold him to his word. And he will hear my voice very loud and clear because I've told everybody and made them understand that this man will speak freely when he has to, and nobody will put any curbs on him in what he says and when he says. So today he made a promise that 8 months' time, and I hope he doesn't tell me in the next few months that we have had some delays in procuring a contractor, so we are going to be delayed. I expect the police station to be ready in 8 months and the officers and members return to their home that they are familiar with. So I wish you well and want to assure you of my own cooperation in whatever way that I can. Finally, let me say briefly that I applaud the Prime Minister and his officials for carving out this agreement with Nypro and for doing so within a reasonable period of time. It may have appeared that a year was a long time in this business after you've been out for so long, but it takes time to arrange, to make the necessary financial arrangements and time to get the costings, etc., right to ensure that the right amount of money is allocated. But the point is, a solution was found. And the years of complaining in Parliament that I don't see any allocation, or if an allocation was made that it was never spent, I think it's good to know that that is now in the past and we can look to the future. You do have a Prime Minister who is very conscious of the police. I think he's far better a friend of the police than I am. And I say that tongue-in-cheek for good reason. But I believe with him, he is always conscious of the fact that his father was a police officer. And I was saying to myself this morning as I sat there waiting for us to commence that, you know, politicians are very strange people. They carry with them their particular constituencies. And I've known him for years. I mean, he has served in a government that I had the honor to lead, and he always had extraordinary sensitivity to police officers. Although some of you may not have believed this while he was in the government that I served, but he was always batting for police officers one way or another. And while, of course, we can never disclose whatever is decided or spoken about in cabinet, I don't forget the moments when, for example, we had to make delicate financial decisions, that he was at one end, he was at the table next besides me, and then pleading and begging and persuading that we need to find the money to do X, Y, or Z for police officers. So you have a very good friend in the Prime Minister of the country. Now, to juxtapose that, when I made the point that every politician carries his own constituency, mine has always been the teaching profession. My teachers, I call them. But then I had once referred to the teachers of St. Lucia as my teachers, and I offended the permanent secretary how dare you call the teachers your teachers? Ironically, it was just a term of endearment, nothing more than to say that, look, these are people with whom I have a very special relationship because I grew up as a teacher, trained as a teacher, taught for many years in schools in St. Lucia, and so therefore there is a bond by profession. So it is nothing when I say, nothing to cause any offense when I say that you have a good friend in the Prime Minister who is very protective of police officers. It's simply to say that it is part of the chemistry that makes him who he is and what he is. And that is a very good thing, but it's also to say to you that you must use that relationship wisely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Kenny Anthony. Introduce Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia and also Minister for National Security, to address you. Prime Minister.
The former Prime Minister spoke about the police and me, but I didn't. But he knows also that I'm a hybrid because my mother was a teacher. so I'm a hybrid between the police and the teachers. First of all, I want to join in thanking you, the police, for the patience that you've endured in this building. When we came into government, two things I found the strangest things that ever happened. And I wondered why it never happened. Two things. Why wasn't the Grocery Police Station built? And why wasn't the Vieux-Fort Police Station repaired? I could never understand why. Up to today, I can't understand why the Grocery divisional headquarters were not built. Can't understand it. Because when Dr. Anthony left government in 2016, everything was in place for the headquarters. Absolutely everything was in place. There was a plan, and I cannot understand why that didn't happen. Baffles me. Secondly, the Vieux-Fort situation is the same. Originally, I think it would have cost $300,000 to repair the grocery station. Originally, as far as I know. If my information is incorrect, then I stand corrected. It has now gone up to $3.9 million. Again, I can't understand. If you speak about police and crime and the welfare of police, why should that take so long? But as they say, the longest day has an end, and both the Grocery Police Headquarters and the Vieux-Fort repairs to the Vieux-Fort station is going to happen, and it's happening simultaneously. This is just the beginning. This year, and in speaking to the police High Command, I've said to them that in spite the fiscal realities, this year is going to be the year for national security. We're going to use the resources we can afford to continue for continuous improvement in the resources, in the capabilities of the St. Lucia Police Force and the ancillary services, fire service, etc. Because there is a situation in the country where there is outrage as far as crime is concerned, and blame is beginning to be thrown at all places. There is not a specific person or entity that you can blame, but fact is the police have the responsibility of maintaining law and order. And that is a responsibility that has been given to them. And we have to find ways to give them the capabilities to ensure that law and order is maintained. So this year, you will hear it in the budget. We're going to be improving, increasing the resources. The minister was saying yesterday, the vote for police training had been zeroed. We are going to be putting some money. We put some money this year. We hope to put some more next year for police training. Repairs for police stations going to happen this year, some of them. We are going to cause improvements to happen to the bodily prison, so that when we can have a safer environment, so that when prisoners are in there, you know that they can serve their term. We've changed the head of the prison has been changed. We're hoping for some changes in there, and we hope that with the resources that we're going to be investing in national security this year, we can get the returns as the year goes. So your responsibility is onerous. It's a difficult job. We seem to be, as I said before, we seem to be going through a pandemic of crime throughout the world. This morning, I understand there were 5 people shot in Virginia at a Walmart. There is a pandemic of crime. I was speaking to the Prime Minister of Jamaica yesterday, and he was saying to me that he had to have a state of emergency, and he's thinking of extending it throughout Jamaica. Well, Trinidad, you hear about Trinidad, Barbados. There seems to be something happening in the world or in the region where respect for human life has become almost zero. And some people think they have the solutions. Some people think that they know what to do. But I'm sure that collectively we have to find a way at least to curb the scourge of crime in the country. And that job is not only for the police, it's for everyone. But you are the guardians, you are the custodians, and you're the ones that will always be pointed to. We have spoken before about the integrity of police officers, and each police officer must ensure that his integrity is intact. And if everyone ensures that their individual integrity is intact, they will not allow other people to spoil their good name or to spoil the integrity of the force. So it is you're the ones who now have to manifest a change by ensuring that the things that you can change, you change. And one of the things you can change, I know that you can change, is to try to limit the level of corruption among some people in your ranks, a few, not many. 99% of police officers are hardworking. 99% of police officers want to do their job efficiently, but there are a few. And we know the few. It's our job now, your job as police officers, to call out that few. And you have the full support of the government in terms of the police high command when you will call out that few. and cause them to face the justice that they deserve. Because you cannot have other men and women going out and putting their lives on the block, and one person, because of selfishness, will cause problems for the entire force and probably putting your own life in danger. So it's your job to call out those who, by their selfish actions, are creating problems for you. It's your job. So we hope that we can come in next year at this time and open the new station. I am told that we ought to be, you see, Mr. Shimari put his neck on the block. So we're going to come in next year and do that. I think the headquarters in Grosley, I think they'll take 2 years to build. The first set of movements will happen, I think, this month, when the original buildings are going to be taken down, and we hope construction to start in earnest in January. We haven't chosen the contractor for the Vieux-Fort station. Has not been chosen, but I'm sure when he's chosen, he would be, when Nypro chooses him, he'll be a contractor who we can depend on, who will see if he can create some employment for the people of Vieux-Fort, so everyone can benefit. And finally, whilst I'm here, I want to tell the parliamentary representative and the people of Vieux-Fort that we are reconsidering the administrative center that was promised to Vieux-Fort and that was started and was stopped as an act of political retribution. We are going to be reconsidering it, and very shortly I will make an announcement on an administrative center for Vieux-Fort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. And now we will sign the MOU between the Government of St. Lucia and Nypro. I would like to call Assistant Commissioner of Police responsible for the Southern Division, Mr. George Nicholas, to bid you thank you for this signing ceremony.
Today I'm supposed to be smiling. It's supposed to be a very exciting day for the police in general and for Vieux-Fort in particular. There is a school of thought in motivation that concludes that money is not the only motivating factor. When you improve working conditions, productivity improves. And there was a study conducted called the Hawthorne Studies in Chicago sometime in the 1920s, long before I was born. And it testified to that as well, that when you improve working conditions, that productivity will improve. For too long, the Vieux-Fort Police have been moving from building to building, trying to find a settlement so that we can provide the type of service that is required. And it is stressful enough to move an office. You have to unsettle yourself here, pack your boxes, and then to resettle. It is more stressful when you have to move an entire station. And we have had to do it at least twice in the last few years. And to compound the situation, when the new settlement was not designed to accommodate you, so you cannot be fully settled. And an officer who is not fully settled might not be able to deliver the type of service that is required in the current climate that we live in. So I'm very thankful today that at least we are at this juncture where we are signing the understanding to undertake the repair works at the Vieux-Fort Police Station so that we can return home, return to our our settlement, where we can be fully settled to be able to deliver the service that is required in this challenging environment. So I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to say thank you on behalf of the Commission and the force itself. And I hope that, like Mr. Jamari said, that it will be constructed or renovated within the time that he has stipulated. Thank you.